Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We want you to be a part of it too. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. So please hit like, subscribe, and join the conversation every week for free on YouTube, on Spotify, and wherever you listen. Joe,
That's right. That's right.
tomorrow's an important day.
Um,
October 15th.
I thought are you talking about game two of the Dodgers Milwaukee series?
Oh no, your birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday tomorrow.
that's right. That game's tonight. Yes, okay. Yes.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, that's a big day. When you really think about it, it's kind of strange to take credit for celebrating your birthday because let's face it, birth, you had very little to do with that. And then basically to be able to celebrate your birthday, your only job is to stay alive. Not easy, but hey, if that's what you got to take credit for, then here I am, 64 circles around the sun. I love it. And thank you for recognizing that.
You've been blessed, and I'm blessed to
Yes.
know you, my friend.
Thank
You
you.
share a
And
birthday. You
likewise.
share a birthday, Joe, with Tito Jackson of the Jackson
Hmm.
5,
Wow.
the famous, world famous chef, who I believe we've been to his restaurant in Orlando at Disney, Emeril Lagasse,
Mm-hmm.
Lee Iacocca,
Whoa.
Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame pitcher Jim Palmer,
Of course.
and of course, one of the greatest duos in music history. It was Karen and Richard Carpenter.
Richard Carpenter. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, there you go. The unsung hero of the Carpenters.
that's right.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for that reference, those references, because they're all great. And there was one sports related pitcher in there, so that was good. Jim
Yeah,
Palmer. Yes.
yeah.
Great pitcher, great ambassador for the game of baseball. Hopefully, I'm an ambassador to for some out there, for fans driven sports. That's why we're doing this.
That's right.
Let's not waste any more time about birthdays and all those things. Let's get right into baseball. Wow. Is baseball delivering in 2025? I say yes.
Big time. And you talk about Carpenter and the construction, it makes a foundation. But what's going on with the Seattle Mariners? All of a sudden, they're shocking the baseball world. And I mean, they went into Toronto and took care of business with not just some timely hitting and then yesterday's home run barrage, but the pitching has been amazing.
It's has it been a surprise? I don't know, but it has definitely been something to recognize. I mean, getting on a plane after a 15 inning marathon, a very stressful, emotional marathon, and then flying into Toronto to face, and let's face it, after disposing of New York, Toronto is arguably the hottest team in the postseason.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And it was Polanco who had his October magic by getting that game-winning hit against the Detroit Tigers, and he comes to Toronto, and yesterday, as part of the home run barrage, he hits a three-run jack, which really at that point started to blow the game wide open. It was Rodriguez, Polanco, and Josh Naylor, a native Canadian. Okay, but anyway, the home run barrage yesterday just made me really start to think this could very well be in the first World Series appearance for the Trident carrying
Mm.
Seattle Mariners. Wow,
Yes.
what a story! That's just amazing.
Yeah, this is why it's hard to bet on sports because so many things happen that you just don't see coming. And, everyone thought, Raleigh and Cal would deliver. He did. Homer Polanco, though, man, maybe I just kind of missed enjoying him during the year, during the regular season, but wow, household name now.
Yeah, and
Unbelievable.
And I'm glad to see that. And I think part of that's just because simply they're out in the Northwest corridor of the United
Maybe.
States. Don't get to see them on TV that much, but that's a tight knit, well managed baseball team. And we'll have to see what happens. And then on the other side, over on the National League side, what a game last night. What a pitching performance by both pitchers, especially Blake Snell. Snellzilla delivered a one hitter through 8 innings and gets pulled for the ninth inning, and they bring in the bullpen.
Oh boy, dear. Wow.
As we've talked about on past episodes, my gosh, they're shaky at best. So Roki Sasaki comes in and he can't do the job, and they bring in Blake Trinan. And the at bat against Bryce Terang, 2 outs, 2-2 count, and he gets a pitch inside that he could have just let hit off his knee, right knee, left knee, I don't know. But had he let that pitch hit him, it would have been a tie game right then and there. But
Yeah,
no, he gets out of the way because of his natural instincts.
right.
And
Me
on the
too.
next and then on the next pitch, Trinan closes out the game with a 95-mile-an-hour high cheese fastball. What a nail biter. What a game.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, 10-3 blowouts are nice if you're a Seattle fan, but boy, you sure love to see the one-run games going all the way. I mean, poor Snell. You pitched his gem, and then you're sitting in a dugout having to, sweat out, the ninth inning. Just crazy. By the way, who can blame anyone getting out of the way, even if it, getting hit in the knee would have, take one for the team. But after getting hit by Mylan Hooper back in our, little league days for the Bombers, remember him?
Yes.
We're like 9 years old. He's showing up with like sideburns and a beard, already shaving. He's got like a high school girlfriend. He's 10 years old. His fastball, it was probably 38 miles an hour, but from that distance, it was probably equal to like 99. So, anyways, not dodging or not intentionally getting hit by a pitch. Yeah, that would take a lot to overcome. But let everyone the games are great, but let's talk about the double play. Come on, let's talk about the double play. That was highlight TV at its best.
It's Muncie. Bases loaded. Jacks one. Hits the center fielder's glove. Bounces off the wall 3 inches from the yellow line that would have constituted a grand slam. Not so fast, my friend.
No, thank you, Lee.
So the ball bounces off the wall. He ends up catching the ball, spins around, and while all that was happening, can we knock on Teoscar Hernandez's door?
Or batting helmet.
What are you doing? Of course, I'm a
Well,
Dodgers fan, but
well,
gets
I'll
thrown
tell you
out
what
at
he was
home
doing.
plate.
What he was doing was what a lot of us baseball enthusiasts would have done is when you see the ball bounce off his glove, hit the wall, and then go back into his glove, he's halfway to home. Oh, it's a catch. I got to go back to third and tag up now and then go back home. And so his mistake was not knowing the rules of baseball, knowing that just because it bounced back into the glove, because it hit the wall, it was not a catch. I may have done the same thing, to be fair.
I'll admit it too, but he's a professional baseball player that gets paid millions of dollars. Third base coach is screaming at him to go home. Then he goes back to third base, tags up,
Yeah,
and goes
yeah.
home.
No, it wasn't a good look. But to get an 8-6-2 double play, I'm not really sure how often that's happened in baseball. But if we were experts, we might know. And that's why I don't know the rules because we're not experts.
No,
Uh, it's not like a golfer. Hey, my ball's laying next to this anthill. Let's call the rules official over. Everybody stop play. You guys wait while I get a ruling on my ball. This is baseball. It happens. At the time, it's the third base coach probably knew the rules, but unfortunately, wow. Hey, listen, it in that game, it was pitching perfection meets chaos, and that's what
Yeah,
makes the games great.
precisely. That's spot on. It was chaos in the ninth inning. It really
Well,
was.
and I'll leave it. It's not like Toronto's a household name with World Series rings either. I mean, I think they're chasing one that they haven't won for 20 something years either. But let's face it, Seattle is chasing history, so it's hard not to root for them.
It is.
Well, more
One last
baseball to come. Yes,
And then the one last thing for baseball, manager Mike Schilt
yes,
of the San Diego Padres surprisingly announced his retirement. And now that's going to open up, and we'll have to talk. Obviously, that might go into the off season after find out who's going to get named the San Diego Padres next manager. That's a club that you talk about in 2026 right now, legitimate if they can hold on to all their free agents. Yeah.
yeah. There's probably a few more coming, but we'll see. Yeah, he had a nice run there. I'd love to hear from just GM or ownership on what exactly they were expecting. Anyways, let's move on. We have some football to talk about. We're leaving
Yeah.
the diamond and going to the gridiron. So let's talk about it.
Gotta love it. College football. Very, very exciting weekend. And
Yes.
I would suppose the biggest surprise lands with the Indiana Hoosiers heading to Eugene, Oregon, and definitely showing the country that they belong.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
went out on a
100%.
limb. I went out on a limb and I picked Indiana. And I think you said, wow, you're right. I went out on a limb, but look what happened. They dominated Oregon, beat them 20-10 in their house.
Yeah. Um, I mean, last year's Indiana team snuck up on people, and no one, I didn't hear a lot of people thinking that they really belonged, and maybe with their early exit, maybe not. But, it takes time. You look at even NBA dynasties and all that, it's so common for teams to, make it to the playoffs and make it to the finals, once or twice before they, get to that next level. So you got to love the way Here's something that really surprised me. So, Indiana with 6 sacks, but even more impressive to me, 81 yards rushing for Oregon. That is, they didn't just that wasn't an upset. They manhandled Oregon, and that was pretty surprising to me. So it was, Indiana's legit.
Yep. And they've got a quarterback from Miami,
Yeah, there you go. Well,
Mr.
um,
Mendoza.
yeah, a lot of people were looking at Mendoza when he entered the portal. Good for
Yep.
Indiana.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what a great win! And now Indiana goes from number 7 to ranked number 3
Yeah, and
behind
and that
Ohio
when I was looking
State
at the
and
ranking, the
Miami.
rankings came out, I was like, wait, what now? I almost had to like look up like what emblem is it? What logo is? Oh, that's Indiana. Hey, listen, kudos to Signetti, man. I mean, that guy, I'm not. This is not a bash on Indiana at all, football or the state, but you're doing this at Indiana. I mean, that's got to be some brownie points as far as I'm concerned.
I totally agree. Signetti has built a team, and I'm so glad you mentioned the defense. That was an all around that is an all around good football team, and it's going to be interesting to
100%.
see if they can go on to knock off, win the Big Ten. They're right there now, and I think they're good enough. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
We will. We're going to find out together. That's the way it goes.
And then we got
Um,
the Alabama going into Missouri,
by the
and
way, wait, we should mention
oh,
you picked Indiana. I
I
picked
did.
Oregon. So just to let
Yeah,
everyone know that at home, or
I didn't
wherever
want
you're
to.
listening.
I didn't want to rub it in on your birthday
Thank
eve.
you, thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
who's next?
All right. Alabama coming in looking strong, but it did take a last minute interception for them to survive at Missouri. So they've rebounded from the opening loss to my Seminoles, and they
Um,
look mighty good.
they've rebounded record wise. I mean, they were 3 for 4. No, that's not true. They of their three fourth down attempts, they made all three. But Missouri going 1 for 10 on third down, not going to cut it. So give credit where credit's due. Alabama won the game. Missouri did not play that well, in my opinion. So not as well as they're capable of.
And I'll just sneak this in just before it is your birthday tomorrow, but I think I got that one right too.
Oh, yes, you made me look. Yes, I had Missouri, so it's 2-0. You are dominant right now.
Well, I'm getting you
So
back for the week prior because you smoked me. I was
yeah,
done
that's true. That's true.
like
I don't have a
a big
running
old
total, but
donut.
yeah, I think I owed you a couple there. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, let's talk about Oklahoma, Texas.
I picked Texas
You
because
did.
I just deep down I said Sarkeesian and that team have to win this game. It was a must win for Texas. I don't think it was must win for Oklahoma. And I also kind of knew Matera wasn't going to be right. Coming off surgery just what, 3 weeks ago? Man,
Yeah. Yeah. No, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure what would if it would have made a difference or not because to be Texas, their offense looks horrible right now. I mean, it looked horrible up to this game. Then all of a sudden they come out and play Oklahoma, the best defense, at least in the Big 12. And all of a sudden they look okay, pretty good. The punt return definitely helped. That was that was a
that
that
was
was a
huge.
punctuation mark at the time. Yeah,
Texas defense was a huge
yeah,
factor in that football game.
100%. It was.
And I think they were desperate. They had to win that game, or their season would have been kaput. They would have
Yeah,
been done.
yeah. Their offense, still looks like it's just not right, but their defense came to play. They literally, they just, it literally just looked like they were slowly choking Oklahoma. Oklahoma just didn't have an answer, and that was disappointing as well. Um, that's supposed to be a top five type team, and they didn't look at it all. So, anyways, interesting. Kudos to Texas, I guess. And you're right. They probably saved. I still think they might have a trouble getting into the postseason, obviously, but hey, at least they kept themselves in it, maybe.
Yeah, outside looking in now versus being outside.
Right, right. They can look in the windows now, at least, right? At
Yeah,
least the shutter. Somebody opened the shutters so they can look in the windows, but they're still outside.
yeah, they are. Yep. Then we had number one Ohio State going to Illinois, and they took care of business. And I think we
Yeah.
both got that one right. We both said
Yes.
they just have too much. They're too good. So it's starting to look like it's starting to mold like there's going to be about a good nucleus of serious contenders, about 8, maybe 10 teams, and Ohio State and Miami. And
Yeah.
boy,
21 points off turnovers. You can't do that and win games against teams like Ohio State. Ohio State looked methodical, but why wouldn't they? Why would you do anything other than just keep, punishing, every mistake that a team like Illinois makes against Ohio State just gets punished. You know what I mean? That's what the really good teams do. They don't just turn you over; they make you pay for it. And you know, and in Illinois, they they look pedestrian. You know, they look less talented, which in college, kind of rises to the top sometimes. So we'll see.
then we got the college football story, and as I mentioned earlier, Indiana's win over Oregon was so huge. And then later on in the afternoon there on Saturday, we all get the news that Penn State made a decision to fire James Franklin. And I found that pretty shocking right in the middle of the season.
Yes,
And what's that buyout for him?
50. Well, it ranges anywhere from 46-ish to 54-ish. So people are throwing the number 50 out there. So it's 50 plus or minus, a few.
Where are they getting that money from?
Hey, schools like Penn State, they can get that money. They have enough, resources, boosters, etc., to get that money. But is it painful? Yeah. It's really strange. The middle of the season, that's kind of a lack of respect. And it's the reason it was a
Agree.
little shocking to me is this just goes to show you the importance of winning, not winning, but winning. And that is, you could have Franklin, whose overall record, is very respectable. You can have Franklin, who, against average, opponents and all that, has a really good record. You're winning 10 games every year. You're putting your team in position to make the playoffs now, especially every year, but it ain't good enough. You know,
Right.
Franklin's record was 4-21 against AP top 10 opponents. 4-21. Now that's horrible. When you consider that of the 4-21, he was 1-18 against Big Ten top 10 opponents. That was the salt that was rubbing people in the eyes that really made them, just be fed up with Franklin. You can't have a 160 winning percentage against, AP top 10 teams, but it was even worse than that, considering that of those 21 games, 18 were in your own conference. That'll get you fired, man. And the days of, Bobby Bowden and the days of people like that, having some off years or off, few years are over. You have to win now, and you have to win big. 50 million, $49 million buyout that's a lot that's how pissed off people are. And then to do it mid-season, that's just a slap in the face to Franklin, who's going to laugh all the way to the bank. But, I I don't feel sorry for him, but man, wow, that's tough.
That is tough. And that leads into what happened in the state of Florida this past weekend to Florida State and Florida. Florida State gets beat by a freshman quarterback at home to Pitt. Florida goes on the road and looks lost for the most part. I thought they were going to fight it. They looked all right very, very early, but then things just didn't seem to go right for them, and they end up losing 34-17 at College Station to Texas A&M. And then immediately you can I was on my phone and fire Napier, fire Norval, and the hot seat just starts burning for both of them again. And there's so much pressure now. But I got to say this is on my mind big time right now. What about some of the kids who did it the right way? They got recruited, they went to school there, and they're going to find out in the middle of their season that their head coach just got canned. What's going to make them want to play for the interim coach or anyone else is okay, they may be bound to finish out the season, but it affects not only, the coaches, but the players. And of course,
100%.
with Norval and Napier, I got to mention a funny meme that I saw. It had a picture of Napier and Norval in their coach's stance, kind of hunched over, and it had the fire coming out back behind them like they're both on the hot seat. And then it said the, for the Florida State at Florida game at the end of the year, the winner of that game gets to fire their head coach. The loser has to retain, keep their head coach. I'm like,
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Boy, listen, I can't wait to hear who the candidates are for Penn State. You'll probably have some great, hey, look at guys like Signetti, man. Here you are at Indiana. Look what you're doing at Indiana. And I mean, there's Penn State. That's a tough one. You're going to probably hear names like, I mean, just throw them out there. The big names coming out because you don't fire Franklin and hire, some, mid-tier coach. It's just you can't do it. So to be to like, I will tell you this, Jimbo Fisher, his record is still safe as the most expensive buyout in college football history at 76 million to get rid of him at Texas A&M. So, um,
hey,
listen,
I
as we
got
get,
it.
yeah,
Maybe one of these schools, instead of doing a buyout, they can go, look, you got 76 million on your last buyout. Penn State calls Jimbo Fisher and says, come on up, but we're not going to give you a buyout. Jimbo would probably say, okay.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to hear names like Manny Diaz. We're going to hear names like Al Golden. We're going to hear those kind of names, but wow, for 50 million bucks, you better hire somebody that, uh, you know, you better hire somebody that makes people turn their heads and go, wow, that was a good hire. I don't know. We'll
Like
see.
Les
Yeah,
Miles,
no, seriously,
Ed
something like that's going to have to happen. I
Ed
mean, it's like,
Orgeron.
and, yeah, well, there. Those are the kind of names that might make people go, "Wow, that was worth 50 million." I don't know. We'll see, man. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
But all right, well, let's move on. Let's get into the NFL. By the way, let's get in the NFL where coaches aren't given 10-year contracts. Usually, they're given 3 or 4 year contracts, which makes sense. Why are colleges giving these guys $15 million contracts because they were good at a mid-tier school or an FCS school, and then they just think it's going to translate into these Power Four teams that are a hell of a lot harder to manage, especially today. So I don't know. Maybe the year, the era of 10-year, 12-year deals is over. Unless you're Nick Saban or somebody like that. I don't know. It's unbelievable. But let's go to the NFL. We had 4 games that we highlighted. Let's get into those if you want. We can start with Detroit and Kansas City. What do you think about that?
I was surprised. I picked Detroit and I was wrong.
Yes.
And they just, I don't know, that just didn't look all that great. But credit to the Chiefs. All of a sudden, their offense looks like it's starting to hum. And I believe they get, is it Rice is going to be back now off of his suspension.
Yep. He'll be back.
So
Yep.
Kansas City looked really, really good. That was a hard fought game, but ah, I was hoping the Lions would pull that one off. But
I was I also picked Detroit. Detroit was on a roll, and boy, and Kansas City was not.
right,
That looked like the old Kansas City in the sense that their offense moved the ball well, and their defense, because people always, I say people, a lot of people like me, always underrated or underestimated Kansas City's defense. It looked really good. Here's a fun fact: hard fought game, right?
right.
This game. This game featured 0 turnovers and 0 penalties.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I don't know if that's a record or not, but that to me is not one penalty or turnover in that game. I don't know how you do that actually, especially a prime time rivalry, type matchup like that. I don't know about rivalry, but big name teams. So yeah, interesting. I say Kansas City is almost back. I need a couple more games to really, see that, not to prove it to me, but I think to just see where they stand. But hey, listen, with that win now, they're right in the thick of the AFC West again. So here you go.
I
Um,
fully,
but
I definitely agree with that, and I fully expect Detroit to regroup.
yeah,
They're too good.
well, maybe maybe on the road they need to, be better because they did not look that great against that defense. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not worried about them. 10-win team or something like that, but still, they didn't look as good as I thought. All right, moving on to San Francisco, Tampa Bay. That was a matchup of two 4-1 teams.
And that was a fantastic football game.
Loved it.
And there is a quarterback in the NFL now that is already starting to garner MVP mention. And I think he deserves it by the way he fights. He is fun to watch, and that's Baker Mayfield.
Love it.
What were the Cleveland Browns thinking when they let him go? What were the
Well,
Carolina Panthers
yeah,
thinking when they let
I was
him
going to
go?
say, keep going, keep going. I know.
Well, the Rams didn't keep him because they had Matthew Stafford, who said, I'm not done yet." So I can see that. But wow, what a great player! And that team is rallied around him and his feistiness. He fights for every yard. Love how he jumps up after he throws, gets sacked, but after he throws the ball, he gets knocked to the ground. The ball goes for a touchdown. He gets up and goes like that
Yeah.
to the
Plus,
defender, like,
plus
look at the
gets face
scoreboard.
mask to face mask with a guy who tried to end his, season. I love Mayfield's attitude. It's got to be infectious if you're on a sideline, whether you're a first year player or a 12 season pro, to see your quarterback doing that. Tampa Bay's defense shouldn't be underrated either. 6 sacks,
No.
2 picks. They were, the other stars of the game. Mac Jones, these Jones guys just go from one team to another and all of a sudden look like they're all stars. 347 yards. The 2 picks hurt them, but still, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
San Francisco, they could have won that game, so they look like they're in the thick of things if they wanted to be.
Yeah. And just a quick moment of kudos to Fred Warner, dislocated ankle. That really hurt San Francisco's defense in that ball game.
Big time. Plus, you see how it happened. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, hello, what? Just getting didn't even look that bad, quite frankly. I mean, just a little
No.
stepped on. Wasn't like he was
Yeah.
stomped on or anything.
Right. Yeah. But back to the Buccaneers, I think the point to be made seriously is the Buccaneers are doing this without their number one running back, Bucky Irving.
Yep, true.
Rashad White has really stepped in and done a great job. He's
Yep,
good. And
yep,
then they're also doing it without Godwin and Mike Evans at receiver.
yeah,
So
crazy.
it
No,
doesn't matter to Baker. He's infectious, like you just said, and it's spreading throughout that football team to go out there and do whatever it takes. And there's a lot of people that are picking Tampa Bay right now as the best team in the NFL.
well, they listen. The defense gets Baker the ball. Baker's not Baker until he gets the ball, and the defense gets him the ball. All right, we got to get to these last two because this episode's getting closer to the end here. So let's talk about the. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Tennessee Las Vegas game. We had that one written down because it was the 1-4s against each other. I think.
Yeah.
Boy, I mean that neither one of those programs should teams should brag about that win. Quite frankly,
But,
Tennessee's so bad it got their coach fired. But
right. And that was shocking to coaches getting fired in the middle of the season. But the Raiders got you an early birthday present. The
yes,
Raiders.
the Raiders giving me a win against a one-win team. I'm not saying
Take
it.
it.
I'm not like what is it? I opened a gift and I'm disappointed or anything like that. Hey, I'll take the gift. But at the same time, man, wow, the Raiders don't look good at all. Tennessee, maybe a head coaching change. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe Brian Callahan, the quarterback whisperer, just wasn't a good coach because that looked pathetic. We'll
They could
skip that
hire
one. But what's that?
maybe they'll hire James Franklin.
Hey, you know what? Why not? That would be a good and give him a 2-year deal with a $80 million buyout. The other game we had Seattle Jacksonville. To be honest with you, that was a yawn. Not even sure we should even go into that. 60 yards rushing in the NFL for Jacksonville's not going to get it done. I don't care who you are.
No,
And let's just skip that. No offense to Seattle or Jacksonville fans. In Seattle, hey, listen, you're getting the W's when you need to and where you should. So congratulations on that. Looks like a good team. A team that you need to bring it to beat in Seattle. Jacksonville, same old, same old. What are you going to do? It's horrible. Um, Tennessee Titans. I don't know if that's all coaching. Cam Ward looks like he's just has no clue on how to check down or do whatever he's supposed to do to get the completion and keep the chains moving. He had that issue in Miami where he's always looking 20, 30 yards downfield when the 7-yard little dump off is all you need to do. And so we'll see if that's more coaching or, a Cam Ward issue. I always give rookie quarterbacks, time. Sometimes they never get it, but very few can just come in there and, the Daniels of the world don't happen every day.
precisely.
Um,
And he's got to learn not to try this, always trying to get the splash plays.
yeah, no, right, right. And that is what you have to learn in the NFL. 3 yards, 4 yards, 4.5 yards in the NFL is a lot.
The chains.
Yeah, I forgot. I was reading something somewhere about the average yards per play, and it was horrendous. It was like 2.9 yards or something like that. And in the NFL, that's just not going to get it done. And, that's It was like Las Vegas and Tennessee combined for 2.39 yards per play in the first half. And that is like the bottom three in NFL history. So,
Yeah.
that, and the Raiders were part of that too. So we'll move on from that. By the way, so you picked KC, I picked Detroit. No, we both picked Detroit in that one. We both picked Tampa Bay in that one. We both picked Jacksonville. Missed that one. And I think you picked Las Vegas, and I picked Tennessee. So there you go.
Wah,
Horrible.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, terrible. But my record was atrocious on this weekend. But
And
hey,
that's why we were undrafted, Joe.
that is why we were undrafted, and that's why we're armchair quarterbacks because we can see it better than most with our arms on our chairs and a beer in our hand. 100%.
Now we
Well,
have finally the Miami, I keep wanting to call them the San Diego Superchargers. I'll just call them that. I don't care. We're undrafted. What can you do to fix Miami?
well, in the minute we have left, nothing, because you've got a coach who can't coach you and has no respect. Now you have a quarterback that has no respect. If I'm a quarterback, I'm the quarterback, by default leader of the team in the NFL at least, and I'm calling out my teammates, in a press conference, and the way I'm calling them out is saying basically they don't respect me because we have player only meetings and they're late for or don't show up for. I'm basically telling the world, hey, look, my teammates don't respect me. Because if you're, Mike McDaniel, it's like, hey, I'm not running player only meetings. That's why they're player only. So it's not my fault.
And I wonder if Tua has been on time to every meeting too, because I've heard some news today that there's some buzz going that he does it too.
Listen,
What a mess.
what a mess. And listen, when you throw 3 picks and you're a big reason why your team sucks, you don't need to be in a press conference calling out players, calling out your teammates. Between the coach, the head coach, and the quarterback, you've got just, I don't know what, you know, words like reset, total, come up. Well, I don't even know how you do that. I mean, so anyway.
Miami, anybody who grew up in Miami during the early 70s like we did, we can always, every year when the Dolphins disappoint, we can always go, but the 72 Dolphins are still the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Mhm.
History.
Yeah.
But when are they going to turn it around? It's not going to
Yeah.
be this year, baby.
Listen,
No, sir.
I've learned one thing. Your rear view mirror is this big, and your windshield is this big, and there's a reason for that disparity. That's the ratio in which you should look behind and look ahead. That's why your rear view is that size. You should glance in the rear view once in a while and fond memories and remember those days. But let's look ahead and what's ahead. And you know what? You know what's ahead for the Miami Dolphins? Not a good season, I can tell you that. So that is for sure. It's a disgrace, quite frankly. Well, with that, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Please don't forget your comments are a part of the show. Drop them below and we'll read them and we'll feature them in future episodes. Write down some smack. Send us some comments, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen. We'll see you in the no rear view mirror. See you next week and happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next time. Take care.